Eventually, you come upon a quarantined area. You can see that there was already combat here, and you can see there are 4 more guards outside of the medical facility, and they're standing there just pinning Sewell.
I'd be like, Sewell, psst, hey, Sewell, don't you cut me. I'm here to rescue you.
Oh shit, I must be dead.
You're not dead. For once. Actually, no, this is the second time we're saving you, but anyways, come on. This is a rescue mission.
Like,
you should be used to this.
You see the power. Ooh, 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 ooh. Caution lights go dim, bare minimal yellow along the runners as there is now no lights. And off in the distance somewhere you hear,
Oh, I hate this show.
Great, now we're in the dark.
You were imprisoned for like shit.
And then 2 of you drop down outside of the door into the hallway. It is so dark. All the light there is a green glow and this Durasword and this electric stick. And from the bits of shadows that you can see, you hear the screams of these men as the shadows are ripping them to pieces. And you see a third figure. Somebody shows up behind them. You don't know who it is.
No, don't do this, Di. Don't do this, Di. There are 3 behind the door. Be careful.
Malik, you see a figure clad in black and a helmet you know all too well.
No.
How in the space fuckery, Dot?
Kasha stands before you.
I hate this show.
Everyone hears behind you. Fuck you, Kasha!
You watch as the shot rings out. It hits her arm, breaking it. You see it like go limp. She drops the sword she was carrying because she can't hold it anymore. She screams out, and the shot pings off of her very shiny armor and nicks straight through the slit in her helmet. As you see her like as her head goes back, she's now blinded.
I open that up. I'm going to pick up Kasha and drop her in there.
In a single swoop, lift her up. Use your elbow to toss the lid on this dumpster and toss her in and slam it closed behind her. She screams as she falls.
I slam it down and then I kind of I bend the clasp so that it cannot be opened up.
Speaking of tiny,
take the trash out.
Spot, but you make it to the stacks and back into Sanctuary. The knock is given at the door. Sewell gives the appropriate one. It opens up and you're met by Jalissa's face. And she smiles seeing all of you, and then her face drops as she sees the priest.
I brought him back.
Quickly to medical bay. At least we have some. Come quickly. We're gonna need to make sure to save him. And she kind of gestures for you all to follow behind.
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for another episode of Void, and despite the fact that I did cameras earlier, they're now all fucked up. So, welcome to the show. Welcome to this. This is my life.
I like this. Let's continue. Let's just go. Let's go.
I'll be Tal.
I'll be Tal.
Aye, good eye. All right. Well, guys, if you like what we do here for some reason and you want to support us for another reason, Patreon is the best way to do that. So go down there, throw money at me so I can hire someone to do cameras. Away. Yeah, so I can eventually pay someone to do cameras for me. That's it. When you're down there, click that Patreon link, click that Discord link right next to it, and join us over in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will find the corruption bar. That bar serves 2 purposes. One is when that bar fills, Dot gets to do whatever the hell she wants to us. Maybe next week the cameras will be on time. And 2, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, amazing faces that you see here before you. That being said, you saw the intro. You saw the recap. Dot, take us into space.
Yeah, into space we go. Last time that we gathered, the crew rescued Sewell and a small group of insurgents that were sent by this group led by Tal's sister that Sewell's been kind of helping train and be a part of in certain ways. And they were on a very specific mission, which was to rescue a priest, the last remaining priest said to be on board Coriolis. He has vital information regarding the plan of the First Horizon, and they needed to get it back. And unfortunately, they were a bit pigeonholed in this kind of sci-fi trench warfare. But the crew, with daft effort, very much moved through the guards using the ventilation system and Tal's incredible I don't know, I guess it's one of your specialties that you can do. And y'all managed to rescue Sewell along with 2 other and the priest. But this hallway where they had kind of bunkered down and were being had been held captive for 2 days was also kind of a mass grave site of a residential space, which rose with some dark figures from the void. And to my surprise, and I think maybe not everybody's, to my surprise, they actually cared less about these like supernatural, dark, shadowy creatures and a lot more about the fact that Kasha showed up. They put a quick end to Kasha, crispy fried her inside of a metal trash bin, and did in fact make their way back to the temple, to this hiding place inside of the stacks of the cellar. And I imagine everybody needs a little bit of help, especially the priest, who is heavily injured. And as you come in, you're met with many hands to help kind of take bodies, and Sewell, along with the soldiers and the priest, are kind of ushered off towards this medical facility. And Jalissa stands in front of you, looking you all up and down, and she kind of smiles, a bit proud. She goes, "Well, I see that it went well."
Well, as good as it could.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could have gone better, but
I mean, she again looks you all up and down. You're all not injured. You got the priest back along with 3 of our best fighters. So I'd say it was a rousing success.
yes.
What's the tiny guy good at fighting?
Tamir like just does one of those elbow nudges at Malik.
Ow! He didn't shoot anything.
She looks at you and she goes, "He's
Shut
really
up.
good at fighting bad sarcasm."
I don't. Okay.
Are you hungry? Are you injured?
No.
I think we all actually made it out okay.
Praise. Were you followed? And she looks at you, almost even more important than if you were injured.
I don't think so. We tried to be pretty careful coming back and taking the long way around. But
So what, you just took out the guards and freed them?
Yep. Well, we took out the power grid and then got attacked by monsters and then killed them and then killed the guards and then
the monsters took
killed-
care of the guards.
killed Kasha.
Monsters?
And then
There are
Kasha?
where exactly are we standing right now?
Y'all are probably kind of in the central area. They would have greeted you kind of at the door.
Yeah. I think we need to have a chat in a little bit more private of an area than here.
I think we definitely need the priest to come and join us.
Well, the
And
priest seems
he's
to be
able
in
to.
rough condition. He needs to be healed before we can debrief him. But privacy I can manage. And she kind of gestures for you to follow. And takes you into her quarters once again, away from people. She pours hot tea that she already was probably started, and when she heard you were coming, kind of left behind. And she says, "Well,
So the darkness does stuff, right?
I have heard that there are things outside of my knowledge." Yes.
Okay. I mean, you grew up on the same ship I did, right? You've seen some weird stuff.
You mean like how you have powers and things?
Well, yeah, kind of related, but not from people, but like the darkness itself, shadows and death.
Monsters rose up out of the darkness and attacked you.
Yeah, basically they're kind of infesting the areas that they've all been quarantined, all the bodies have been left. In order to help alleviate that, you might be able to vent out certain areas, and that would suck, but
Well, my understanding is they have vented the areas that they could. No wonder they've quarantined off and don't want people in the residential areas. Well, that's enlightening, I guess. She kind of thinks through that and doesn't know exactly how to take it.
they do seem susceptible to weapons and getting hit with like accelerator pistols, and I
so
see
they can die.
Dura swords work apparently, so they can, but we've seen this before in other places, and they can do some major damage if they get their hands on you very quickly. I don't think we were followed because no one would dare come to the area to follow us.
I see. Interesting. We should probably mark that on a map and let our scouts know to steer clear.
Yeah. Really any place that you've had a lot of losses, especially if they couldn't vent the area, that's where they should be. At least for now. But they're afraid of light, which is good.
Oh, okay. And she kind of notes that that's a weakness. And she says, okay, we'll make sure to try to keep everything well lit then. Well, since you're all fine, and she kind of looks you all up and down again, monsters riding out of the darkness seems a little fairy tale. But she trusts her sister. And she says, okay, well, I don't know if you'll be glad to hear this or not, Alia, but your friend is scheduled to be interrogated again today, and I didn't know if you would like to be part of the process.
Is she awake? Is she fine? Has she woken up?
She will be.
Well, yes, I'd like to be a part of this, please.
She looks at the rest of you. You all seem to have a bit of a history. Are you interested?
Where'd you find this one?
Sulking about, trying to locate someone here in the stacks. Whoever they are, long gone, but she's assured that what she seeks is still here.
To the best of your knowledge, has she always been on Coriolis?
I have no idea. Some of our scouts brought her in when they found her. We believe, though we can't actually confirm, that she's possibly the one that fed information to the Justicar about our location the last time we were attacked. But again, and she kind of looks to Alia, I cannot confirm or deny this fact.
Yet, without confirmation, you decided to torture her and put her into state.
We have decided to get the information that we can so that we can assure she didn't do what we think she did. But she is holding out on us. I am against the idea of using some kind of drug on her. And again, she looks to you, Alia, to let you know that, like, but she is not cracking. I'm wondering if a more personal touch might help.
Speaking of which, how long have you had her?
Oh, I don't know. 4 or 5 weeks?
So, Sewell has seen her.
Sewell tends to stay out of personal matters.
You know she used to hook up with his dad, right?
Well, you know he drug her in here, right?
Oh, so they did see each other.
Yes. He's left her in our capable hands.
It's probably the same one that was here the whole time, guys.
Did Alia ever meet this specific one?
You don't know.
Oh.
You don't know.
Okay.
I think Malik is making estimated judgments based on like time and which ones would be on board Coriolis, but
I think Malik might have met the most of them.
Yeah, you've had
the most out of anyone. He's met the most.
But you don't actually know if you've met this one. You don't even know which one this one is.
Yeah.
Tamir might get that. Maybe it's that stab wound that still hurts every once in a while that makes you think that maybe it was that one. But you don't know.
Tamir doesn't trust any of them at all.
This
I don't think any of us do.
This is actually the one that I don't think is the worst. She helped me with your dad and your sister. She did strand me on a moon, but I sort of got her arrested for it. So
Each of these like accusations you guys are making, like every time Alia hears it, you just see her like drop her head a little more, and then you can just like, and I look at why am I having a big brain fart? Just Jalissa, thank you. She goes, well, when are you planning to do this?
Right now. They should be pumping her full of adrenaline as we speak.
Okay, I will lead the way, or I'll be there. And then you see her.
Jalissa goes, do you want to bring your tea?
I don't know how much of a help it will be, but sure.
She kind of passes you your cup. Might as well have tea, right?
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to come is absolutely welcome. And she kind of walks you back down through the area. We'll cut back to anybody that stays behind. But she leads you, and you can see there is a very large figure, a very muscular man behind the kind of force wall. Right, this electric wall they have. She boops a code into the thing, and it kind of comes down, and you can see your sister's coming too. Somebody has got a needle in her arm and is feeding her like adrenaline, basically.
Okay. Alia looks at and basically asks to see if I can enter.
Oh yeah, she kind of gestures. You're gonna have to. They're gonna interrogate her behind the wall, so you've got to enter if you want to be part of this.
So yeah, she goes in and then kind of gets close and leans down and kind of just kind of observes her. Are there any sort of telltale signs, anything that Alia might pick up on, some kind of a story that could be told by observing her?
You can try to make a roll, Alia.
Okay.
Let's see.
Maybe like an empathy.
I would give you a. This is really a. It's a manipulation check because you're trying to read her state, her emotional state. Or if you want to note like a birthmark or something like that, if you want to just visibly do it, it's observation. If you want to like read her emotional state, it would be manipulation.
Yeah, I think she'll be like watching her as she's coming back, and probably like the entire time kind of observing and trying to identify anything about her. So with that, I'll do manipulation then.
Okay.
Fuck.
You look at her, she has definitely been under some physical strain. So you can see like her eyes are a little swollen, she's bruised, so it's hard to tell. You know it is aversion, which one you are completely unsure. She does wear a different outfit than the last one that you saw, but you can tell she's been in this for a while. It's dirty, it's got her blood on it.
She's not wearing the sex suit.
She is not wearing the spider suit. She is not. And she, as the needle empties into her arm, you see her like as she breathes and kind of spits blood a little bit on the exhale, and she kind of comes to a little disoriented as she tries to like again still kind of chained to the wall. And you see Jalissa, after everybody enters, kind of put the force field wall back up so that you can't really be heard or seen. It kind of distorts.
I kind of like basically I'm not even crouched. I'm like full on sitting down like on the floor and get close to her, and I just say, "It's been a while, sister."
she's kind of swaying a little bit, and she smiles even with one eye like swollen shut, and she kind of looks at you and she says, "Sister."
Hi, how are you? Well, I've seen you in better conditions before.
She spits some blood, maybe a piece of a tooth. I imagine you have seen me in many worse conditions. And she kind of looks up at the guy who very clearly is there as the heavy, as if he's not done a very good job. She's totes judging him right now.
And you can just see Alia kind of just observe her, and then kind of reach out and then brush her cheek.
She almost flinches a little bit and pulls away and looks up at Jalissa, and she says, "I didn't think you'd stoop as low as pulling family into all of this."
This was my idea, not hers. I wanted to see you and just talk to me, please.
About
For once.
What do you want to know?
Well, why all of this? Why put yourself in this position? Why are you so adamant on constantly getting hurt and constantly making yourself be the villain?
She smiles a bloody grin and says, "A villain, huh? I have done nothing but try to stop all of this."
But at what cost? And why are you not letting us in on it? Why are we not fighting together?
Because I don't trust her. And she looks at Jalissa. And more importantly, some things are not meant to be known. This is bigger than you and your silly family, Alia, your Defiant crew.
We can help. We can help each other. You know this.
You can't help me.
Give us a
Surely
chance.
couldn't help me. The only people that ever tried to help me. And then she stops.
Okay, enough foreplay. Which one of the clones are you?
And you
She
see
looks over at
Alia
you.
flinch.
She goes, "Does it matter?"
Yeah, I'd like to know which time or which version of you we've interacted with. So how do we know you?
I see you have met the other sisters.
Several of them.
How many are there actually? Do you
11.
know? Oh, that's a lot.
So how do you know us? Where have we interacted physically?
Well, that, and she kind of nods with her head, is my sister.
You know, oh, for fuck's sake, you're chained to a
And she
wall.
kind of-
What's the point?
She goes, "What I seek is far more important than whatever it is you think you need to know. You ask all the wrong questions, Malik."
I'm just here for her.
Okay, so what do you seek?
Something of importance.
Obviously, you've done a lot to try to find it.
But I've not been successful.
So
Let
what is
us-
it? What do you seek?
There's the rub. And she kind of spits some more blood. Alia, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, if you have not succeeded, then perhaps asking and seeking help from us, we could help you. We are all trying to survive. We're all trying to get out of this. We're all trying to not have an entire galactic level of annihilation. We are on the same team.
You know what? Roll a manipulation.
Oh, God damn it.
You're her
Just about
sister.
double check, when you hit the manipulation roll, if you don't have anything, it will still just run the empathy roll, right?
No, you have to hit just the empathy if you don't have anything. in
Oh, well, then
manipulation.
that's the reason why I absolutely failed the last time.
No, you rolled-
It won't
you
let you roll if you don't have anything.
Yeah.
So can I roll the empathy then?
Go ahead and just roll flat empathy because you rolled 5 dice last time.
Okay. And the streak continues, of course.
She kind of leans away from the wall to get a little bit closer to you sitting here, Alia.
Can I'll give you a darkness point. Can I?
Oh yeah, for sure. Corruption bar number 1.
Oh, come on. Roll 20.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. Beautiful. She leans away from the wall and leans into you, and she says, "Okay, I'll play, sister." She says, "You think you're trying to help, but you're getting in the way."
Then tell us how we can not be in the way.
The first horizon only wants to bring peace to this place, to get rid of your consortium and your homogeny and reset it in an equal way.
You see for the first time, Alia, like her face contorts into different emotions. And just, what did you just say?
She says, "See, you think you understand, but you know so little."
Samina, they are here to kill us. I've
They
seen the
are
visions.
only killing those who stand in their way.
And how do we know what is in their way?
Because you are
You know
stopping
me.
their grand plan. And the person that I sought had the weapon we need to stop war from ever happening. You
What
see, when the
proof do you
first
have?
horizon, proof, it's all over, Alia. Are you really that naive?
Then enlighten me.
Well-laid plans, Alia, of the first horizon. Over a decade ago, they broke through a single ship, and then another, and another. And they slowly started to hide themselves amongst the general populace. One of their very first projects was a cloning operation. They created a woman, cloned her, an assassin, a weapon. And she kind of smiles and she says her name was Kasha.
And Halia looks at the crew and then looks back.
Yeah, we've killed a couple of those.
But nobody is ever perfect. And the insurgency of the Second Horizon arrived with the beacon of the emissary, and they had to catch up. So they found an equal assassin. She smiles, me. And they cloned 11 copies. 10 copies. To balance the scales. But nothing is ever perfect. I was the degenerate one, the dejected who didn't listen to the first or the Second Horizon's mumbo jumbo about
And so you're willing to listen. You're willing to listen to the first instead.
Yes, I am. She said, so I was the one bad clone. I hid amongst the filth here and made my way and started looking for something else that was rumored amongst the cellar. Something where I could go to the First Horizon and help them win.
Oh my god, I'm so bored.
She says, well,
this is
bored
like
as it may
watching
be.
a holovid where you're doing the villain monologue. Pretend we don't know about 2-bit. Pretend we don't know about what you're looking for. What's the point? Let's say you get it. What do you do with it?
She stops when you say 2-bit's name, and she looks right at you and she says, you've seen her. You've met her, haven't you?
Pretend like you're holding any of the cards. Please just give me anything, or we just walk out and leave you here, chained to this wall, and we keep on keeping on. You can't stop us.
She says, I was already planning on dying chained to this wall.
Great. What do you need the key for?
Well, that little piece of information I'm going to have to just keep to myself.
Look, oh my god, villains are the fucking worst. Here's the thing. We're already told the key does one thing, and we're going to use it for that one thing. Here's your only chance to sell us on the opposite reason.
And she says, "Y'all have the key. Tubik gave it to you. I knew
We
it."
don't. What key? We don't even know what it is. No one here does.
So what are
You're
you going to do
unworthy
with
of
it?
such an item.
So what are you going to do with it? This is your sell. This is what you have to do. Sell us on your ideals.
I don't have to sell you on anything.
You're right,
change
because we
it.
could just leave.
Bye-bye.
I don't know what the point of this was. This was
Because
a waste of time.
she looks at all of you and she says, this interrogation is going very well. I've received more information in the last 30 seconds than I've received in the last 5 weeks.
Well,
See,
we
I
have a
didn't
fucking
know
invasion to stop.
if this person had it anymore. And I was assured that it may have passed hands, but I wasn't sure who. And then I met your brother down in the stacks all those many moons ago. And I had a feeling, my gut never lies. But now I know.
You stabbed him on a whim. He doesn't
Yes.
have anything. We have nothing. We don't even know what this key is.
That's the way it should be.
I've told you, I have seen the visions. I have connected with one of those ships. I know what is on their mind. They don't seek any sort of compromise. They don't seek any sort of salvation. They only seek destruction. And perhaps in their mind, that is their version of salvation. But none of us will survive. None of us will be here. They will come and hail fire and then kill innocent folks. What we have been through, what all of us have been through, is nothing in comparison to what they will bring.
When a snake sheds its skin, is it the same snake?
What?
You're trying so hard, Alia, to try to convince me that I'm your sister. But when they took her DNA and put it in a petri dish, and I grew from it, I am not your sister.
You remember, you know, you have the memories, and to me, that means you are her. Each one of you are my sisters. And
We may be a piece of her, and yes, I hold her memories, but I am jaded to such things.
So I mean nothing to you.
No. She says the only thing that matters to me is what you all have in your possession. Your dire attempts to stop the First Horizon will bring on the war that you inevitably don't want. It's kind of ironic, actually. The crew of the Defiant, heroes claimed on the news, praised as these wonderful saviors of the Third Horizon. And yet, it's because of your actions that more people will die. You could simply hand over the weapon that you have. I can take it to the right people and all this will be done.
No.
Dot, can I roll manipulation to see if she's up her own ass?
Like if she's lying?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, roll a manipulation.
Cool. How about a crit? How about a critical assad?
She's not lying. She believes everything that she's telling you.
Okay.
You don't know if she's like, it's not that she's brainwashed, like she believes this. This is somebody that believes that if the Empire just brings peace to the galaxy, like all you have to do is just abide by their way, and then nobody has to die. And if they have the bigger weapon, then everybody has to secede and more people will live. It's kind of a corrupt way to look at it, but it's, it's the Hitler mentality through and through. Tell me what you would like to do here, Malik, and let's see if we can figure it out, because y'all are standing in about a 7x7 cube. With one open wall side that's got the hollow. Basically, this
Who's-
was like a small
Who else
Yeah.
is in here?
Tal.
Tal is
Jalissa,
standing in the back corner, like with her back to the wall and the hollow shield on one side, just drinking tea and looking extremely dark.
It's her chained to the wall. You, the heavy, the muscle, Jalissa, Tal, and Alia. So 6 people total in this space.
And where is everyone?
Well, Tal just said she's at
She's
like
in
a
the
back,
back.
I'm near the door, right near
Yeah.
the wall. Alia said she sat right in front of her, so she's like in front of her. I imagine that the heavy's off to the side, about midway down the room, and Jalissa's nearby. Him, the heavy.
Mm-hmm. Malik just sort of like is just listening to her fascist rhetoric essentially, and he has been done since he saw her change the wall and had zero empathy for Alia when Alia asked for his help 2 days ago, and he takes a step forward and looses his Vulcan pistol from its holster and presses it to her forehead. And he
doesn't budge.
he says, "Fuck it, I'm already the voice of a revolution."
Malik, please.
Please what?
I don't know, but there had to be some good in her. Samina was not like this, and if she's any part of her, there's got to be
She's not, though.
I'll tell you what, Alia. I am the asshole of the Defiant. So the nicest thing I can do for you right now is give you a second to leave the room.
Alia turns to her. Samina, please. There is still time. You will accomplish nothing. You will do nothing if you are dead. And you know that that is not the case. Please.
Alia.
Alia like dips her head down. And like in that moment, as she's saying this, can I roll another empathy? Just kind of look into her eyes and just see if there's anything at all in her.
Yeah.
Would I just straight empathy?
Yeah, straight empathy.
Oh, come on. Okay. I'll take a limited.
She has already told you that she planned on dying, so it does not faze her that this pistol is up close to her head. She does look at you and then back at Malik. And she simply says, "What is it you want me to do, Alia? Tell you I'm sorry? Stop this plan? What is it?"
Give us a chance to convince you
Of
that you're
what?
on the wrong path, that they are not here for us. They never were here for us.
And maybe that's true. But your emissaries, the fight of the Second and the First Horizon, will only bring more darkness. This I know in my heart, in my spirit. And the fact of the matter is, I'm going to die anyways.
Malik pulls the trigger.
And a fire kind of blasts off in a muted way against her skull as the laser pierces the wall behind her and she goes limp. Jalissa goes, "Great, now we'll never know if she was the one that turned us over or not."
She was never going to tell you from the start. She ran drugs and secrets from Erez Elkan. What are you going to do? Your torture was just fucking fun time for her.
Well, I guess there's no options now. And she turns and looks at all of you and she says, "And considering the fact that she was snooping about the cellar and the stacks for something that all of you have, is new information for me."
It wasn't relevant. You
It's
kept your
relevant
secrets.
now.
We have our secrets.
She says, last time I checked, she was being as honest as she's been since she's been in captivity for 5 weeks. And I've been nothing but honest with you. So what secrets are you holding, Malik?
You have a rebellion to run. You made it pretty clear. We have a horizon to save.
They're one and the same task.
We helped you rescue Sewell. We gave you a bunch of medical supplies. If Tal wants to let you know everything, that's her. She's the captain.
She says, well, since you're so set in your ways, and it seems that the captain clearly has made the decision here. She looks at Malik like, you small, stupid man, and looks over at Tal.
I finish my tea and say, well, that was entertaining. So, I mean, you're smart, Jalissa. You can read between the lines of that conversation. You know, we have something, and it's key to a weapon of sorts, from what we understand.
What kind of weapon?
Not entirely sure. Still researching.
Interesting. She says, well, what I did know, I managed to get out of her, was that she, for some reason, was a bit of a forsaken option of these clones. We've worked in tandem a bit with the Second Horizon here and there. And we knew that they had agents out and about. And they had warned us that one of them had gone rogue. Why we assumed that it was this one. She kind of tries to answer the question that you all asked earlier, like, why were you torturing her? And we tried to gain as much information as possible, considering the fact that we know she's working with the First Horizon, but that line is dead now. So, is there any way I can help you all with your secret mission?
You know, I know sarcasm runs in our family, but damn.
She goes, look, I'm just being honest. This is all a bit much. You all show up. You have the weapon needed to end the war. She's your sister. You've seen monsters rise out of the darkness, and you all walked away from it. Either consistently fooled by you all and your extreme stories, or else there's a lot more going on here, and I am trying to help. The resistance is trying to help.
You really
We're
have
fighting for this as our home as much as you are.
like every word you have is dripping with disdain. There's a lot more you don't know. The Kasha super assassin that we just killed is also Sewell's sister.
Kasha.
Yeah, the one that worked for your dad.
Right. And she kind of points to this limp body, this corpse now, and she kind of says, she mentioned Akasha. Who is it?
The other super assassin.
Yeah.
And you killed one here on board the ship.
We killed several, but one here.
Do we know how many now?
3.
I think 3 at least.
Yeah.
Why would she have shown up now?
Because she's getting desperate, obviously. There's only so many places people are being held up, right?
Did she attack you?
Well, yeah, but we took care of her.
Does Tao memory not serve her well, or is that a lie? Because she never attacked one of you. She only attacked the soldiers and the creatures.
That's true. I think Tal's memory doesn't serve her because she saw Kasha attacking and was kind of far away.
Right.
Saw
right.
Kasha, recognized, saw, and I was like, well.
I believe Alia was close enough. Like she was.
Alia, you would know that she didn't attack any of you.
Yeah.
She, in fact, actually took down some of the soldiers and helped you.
I turned to Captain. Goes. She didn't do anything. She was helping us. She was attacking the other soldiers, and then shot her.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Okay, so this Kasha person shows up, doesn't actually attempt to kill you in any way. You all kill her in exchange, and she's, for whatever reason, the foil to your sister's clone set.
That's
She's
very
to believe.
unfortunate.
She kind of stops and she thinks about it. She says, okay, the second Horizon made these clones as a balance to what the first Horizon had done, which must be this Kasha woman. One of the clones, one of the second Horizon's clones go bad, and she gestures again to the corpse of this woman. What's to say that one of the Kashas couldn't have gone good? Well, we don't have time to pontificate about things that can be fixed now. And she says, is there anything else I can do? Oh, and your doctor, she's been hooked up to a drip. She'll be fine.
Thanks.
I need
Look,
some.
in all fairness and honesty, I probably should have read the situation a little bit more before I started shooting Kasha. However, my crew has been attacked or tripped up by this individual so many times that on this point in my life, I am shooting first and asking questions later when it comes to her.
Says, at least that's smart. And she kind of and she says, look, and puts a hand up him. She says, you don't have to explain it to me. If she's attacked you once, I would have done the exact same thing. It's all a bit strange, though. It's as if everything's kind of coming together into one point, and it makes me a bit nervous, I'll be honest.
Yes. Well.
And she goes, wait, and counts the bodies in the room. Where's Tamir?
He had to look at some things.
And the camera will cut to Tamir looking at some things. What does Tamir do when they all slip out and they go to this interrogation session? You have no idea what that means, but
Tamir could
what
care less about
yeah.
Kasha and the dancer. He is stone cold, does not care. He has other things to do, and there's other things to do. He needs to do research about Kua. He needs to do research about the monolith, whatever he can get his hands on that's left, especially if there's blueprints. He needs that. They need to evacuate the monolith.
Okay.
And that's like his mindset. Like, how can he figure out how to get as many people off of the monolith as possible?
You know, there is a library on board. You've been there. It's in the university district. You could go, though you don't know what state it is in at this point. Where would you like to get this information? This is a tough kind of a position you're in.
Yeah, I'm torn. Didn't you say though that like the libraries were destroyed?
There has been a lot of destruction on board. Yes, the hospitals,
Okay.
the libraries. They basically wanted to take they want to rid this place of its history. So that comes in many forms, from its people to its history to its art to so you can suspect that if you're gonna go to the library, you don't know what state it's going to be in. Now you do know there's like digital library stuff. And your brother did say he met a quirky guy with books, so you never know. He's the one that gave your brother the book on Jin that was passed to Alia.
Yeah. Okay.
Good call.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, let's try to find this quirky man first. And if Tamir can't, he's going to rely on Ari and connect into Coriolis.
So you
as like a backup.
Yeah, you remember your brother saying that he was like at the end, he was kind of hidden. So you begin walking these tunnels, these passageways to try to figure out where he's at. And eventually you do come to a door. It's closed. It's unmarked. It is at the end of a hallway. it doesn't have anything written on it, and it stands kind of creaked open. You can see there's a dim light on the inside, and there's movement. There's somebody inside.
Tamir will go ahead and kind of like quietly shift the door a bit, but also knock
Yeah,
kind of at the same time, just to kind of make an announcement that he's entering.
yeah, this big you get the kind of wrap, and it's a massive steel door, and as you kind of push it open, it creaks a little bit under its weight, and there's an elderly gentleman inside. This space is filled wall to wall with books and papers and stacks and anything that he could salvage. And this old guy is pouring tea, and when the door creaks, it scares him, and he splashes, and you can hear the water kind of hit metal floor, and he's like,
I'm so sorry. And like Tamir kind of like shifts his shamag and will kind of help like dab up, and he's trying to help clean up. My apologies.
You trying to kill an old man?
No more killing.
And he kind of he rights his cup, which is now about half full, and like repours his hands, very, very shaky. And he goes, well, if you didn't come to kill me, let me guess you came to collect taxes.
No, I'm not a taxman. I'm a researcher. And it looks like you have books.
Yeah. He stops again and takes you up and down. What do you want?
I want to learn more about Kua and about the monolith.
Oh.
I've been to Kua, but I've never actually touched the monolith.
He like kind of slurps his tea. Kua monolith. And he kind of gets up and he hobbles over and he starts kind of tossing stuff to the side. You can see a lot of stuff is burned. The edges are a little crispy. He goes, well, kid, all good research starts with a little hard work. And he kind of gestures for you to come over and help him and begin looking for what you seek, because obviously this is going to take a while because there's no card catalog system. There's no way. And he goes, let me guess, kid, you're used to, and he makes the gesture with his crinkly fingers for like typing.
Oh, no, I was a student at the university. Most of my research was done going through old files. Old
so you have touched paper.
I wrote my dissertation on paper first before I actually submitted it. So yes.
That's unheard of. He says, I wonder if I read that paper. What paper was it?
Probably not. It wasn't anything important. They wouldn't let me publish my actual work, so
it was very interesting.
I thought that was very interesting.
All right. Well, if we're going to sit here and dig through papers, do tell.
Tamir is like kind of like flipping through and starts like regaling some parts, not all of the parts of their adventure to the portal to discover that there was a rip in time with the portals, and that this information was not allowed to be shared in the public or academic eye. So his paper was censored.
I'm not surprised.
Right? They're always so stiff.
Ugh. Yes. They don't like anything that challenges their point of view. As if maybe he's gone through the censorship before and he kind of sifts through. Let's see. Talk to me about, let's get a roll here. I'm going to have you make an observation. Actually, I'll take a science too, because that's a kind of an academic roll. We'll take a science roll.
Okay.
As you're sifting through these to see if you can find what you're looking for.
Okay. How about 2?
You kind of, you're going through books. That's not so bad. You're going through books and he stops on like one at the bottom of a stack, and it's not really a book. It's not even bound. It's more like a folder, right? Like a leather thing that you would like slide empty pieces of paper in. And as you kind of flip it back to see what's in it, it looks to be some old blueprints, like kind of, I wouldn't say hand drawn. It's probably computer printed, but it's kind of like blueprints. And he says, looky here. And he kind of slips it out and spreads it out on the table. He moves the tea and everything else off the table, like very, very unceremoniously. And he puts his rickety finger on it. He says, "These are the blueprints from the monolith. Oh, look." And he kind of keeps slipping through and he says, This is so interesting. And you can see there's like notes on the side. That's a good science roll. You know that these would have been the blueprints used when they first arrived on the surface of Kua and found the monolith, because it was already there. They didn't build it.
Right.
They found it and thought it was a building. And they built the whole homogeny around this building. All of the upper class. It was beautiful and tall, and it, you can see it from Coriolis, kind of a beacon, if you would. And you can see the handwritten notes and the things that kind of make that known, that they changed this here, they added a wall there, but you can see the blueprint of the original structure.
Okay.
Which would have been the monolith itself.
Tamir is gonna take a second and under his breath just go, "Good fortune, machine. Thank you." And kind of sift over the blueprints, knowing that it is a weapon.
Yes. So
Now,
you know something he doesn't. Yeah.
Right. So like, is there anything, like, does it make more sense?
Yes.
Okay.
If you basically got rid of maybe whatever the rice paper is that's on top of the additional drawings of edits, you can see just the original drawing of the structure, without walls and rooms and residential housing that eventually gets put in and these kinds of things. You can see that it is structured like a barrel almost, that there's kind of a hollow point in the middle, and about halfway, no, a little bit more than halfway up, there is now it's used for a variety of things, but it once served as maybe a control room. There's a station basically there. There's some kind of floored platform that would have had some kind of technology or structure, though you're not exactly sure what it is. But yeah, you could see now that it might be used as some kind of weapon, and it is pointed straight at the sky in that regard. So yeah, he says that he kind of looks at you and he goes, "So what now, kid?"
Tamir's kind of lost in thought for a moment as he's assessing everything, and he takes his pinky and he dips it into the man's tea, and he starts like placing like strategic dots, like locations that they could potentially land in, locations they may need to blow up or cause a diversion at, and then kind of like circles, like leaves a little circle stain around that room that seems like there is some sort of there needs to be a mechanism controller, right?
That's an important like central point of some kind.
So he kind of like circles that.
So you begin going through, and he's watching kind of over your shoulder. It's important, and he wants to know what you're up to. You've kind of piqued his interest. He puts his glasses on, which are like the double, there's double lens ones, which are just like old, and he kind of zooms in on a few things and tries to read stuff, and he kind of talks at you most of the time while you work probably in silence. And he says, "I remember when they started all of this construction all those years ago. It's quite an endeavor. Though we've lost most of the historical records, poor wars and all that."
That is unfortunate.
He says, "Well, the best way to wipe out people is to erase their history."
I know.
He says, "But it was in fact here when we got here, or so they say, left behind by whoever was here first."
Whoever it was.
Same creatures that built the portals, in fact, since you're so interested in all of that technology and whatnot.
Yes, I graduated from the university as a portal master. Unfortunately, I just never served the post.
I've never heard of a portal master coming to do research on paper.
Can you keep a secret?
Who am I going to tell? I can't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
And Tamir kind of like probably looks to where like the flat tray is, where like there had been food, and is like, "Yeah. You probably have seen or read so many things. But what if I told you that this is a weapon?
What is? Information? Yes, it is the greatest weapon we have against our enemy.
I agree. And we're going to need a tremendous amount of information to get people off of the monolith. But the monolith, old man, this is a weapon.
What? The structure?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big old weapon.
Those are big old portals.
Who would want a weapon that big? What do you do with it?
Well, what crosses the monolith's point? At least once a cycle.
He kind of looks at you and he runs over to another stack of papers and lays them out. And you can see it's like if you still charted across space using maps and such, that's what this is. And he scrolls through till he pulls out the map of Kua, the system of Kua. And he kind of slaps it down. He lays it flat, kind of unwrinkling the edges, and he looks at the planet Kua and follows his finger up where you see the small dot, the spot that would be Coriolis. And he says, they're gonna use it against the station.
Yes.
Oh my. He says, it sounds to me like we need to evacuate Coriolis, not Kua.
No. We are going to go down there. My captain, a ship. We are the Defiant. And we will be going down there and making sure this doesn't happen.
I wish I still had your gusto, kid.
It's not gusto. We're just doing what we have to do.
He says, well, I'd like to be helpful, but I can't even put my own shoes on.
I don't need your shoes. Or your feet. Your brain, though. You seem so wise and have... You were smart enough to rescue as much paper as you could. This is more valuable than any data chip could ever be gifted to somebody.
A real flatterer you are, kid.
I just know where real value is. And it's here in this room. I need to bring this to my companions.
Huh?
Do you mind looking up as much information about Kua and the monolith as you can? Whatever information that we can empower ourselves with is going to help us save thousands of lives who already live there.
He goes, are you asking me to spend my afternoon rummaging through books?
I am.
Well, you found the right partner, friend. He kind of claps you with a weak hand. He says, I'd like nothing more. And he quickly goes over and pulls out a different pair of glasses that are like 3 deep because he's going to be reading like text and stuff. And he says, well, take the papers. I didn't even know I had them. Piss off. I got work to do.
And Samir chuckles and rolls them up and kind of like folds it a bit and stuffs it kind of like in the hold of his shemagh to kind of keep it as hidden as possible. And he'll head back, try to find the rest of the gang.
I imagine you do as you're all leaving maybe the interrogation. You see there's
Alia doesn't leave.
Oh, Alia stays. Everybody but Alia. And you see Jalissa lean over to the big guy. And if you're listening closely, she says, when Alia's done, put her out the airlock.
Let me take her.
Oh, no, she said that not in range of you. You were left inside the
but
wall.
No, Alia asks whether or not she says it. Like, she asks her, she goes, let me have at least this.
She goes, I'm not here to stop you, but we can't leave her here.
No, I'll take her out.
Where? Where are you going to take her, Alia?
Put her to rest. Least I could do.
I can't have her body brought into the main area. People can't see you carrying her dead body with a hole through the head.
Just something. Give me something, please.
Just take your time. But we can dispose of the body.
Yeah. Alia kind of just spends as much time at that moment kind of just like asking them to kind of at least unlock her like her
Yeah,
bonds, and
the
then
guy
kind of
goes
just
over
lays her
and
down
removes
and kind of
the chains. Yeah,
kind of just lays her down in more of like the like a hands across the chest, or
a
in
resting
more
position.
in a more resting position. You can just see her like, I mean, in the end, to her, whether she was the bad one or not, or whatever that may be the case, she's still a part, and she takes this moment to just mourn.
And Jalissa leans over to the guy and she goes, "Go get a bunch of wraps from Medical Bay and let me know how the rest of them are doing." And he kind of nods and walks away. And as all of you exit, Ollie is left kind of inside the room, mourning the loss of a piece of her sister. You're all met with Tamir, kind of coming around the corner, papers in hand, kind of like, you know, a binding of kind of oversized papers.
Captain, you won't believe what I found.
Paper.
Yes, blueprints of Kua, of the monolith.
Ooh, I love blueprints. Let's take a look at them. I think we could probably go back to Jalissa's room and lay them out.
You all begin your walk back. You're met halfway by this same brute of a man who has a bunch of swaddles of cloth, of course, so that it can bind the body. And as he passes, he leans over to Jalissa and he says, "The priest is awake. They stopped the bleeding." She kind of nods, and he passes, and Alia will come to provide you with cloth so that you can wrap the body instead of leaving it kind of untended. And he leaves you to your pieces. We probably see Alia behind this blue wall, slowly wrapping the body of her sister and caring for her. And Alia will follow all of you. She's very interested in whatever Tamir has found back to her quarters.
Did you say Alia did
No,
or Jalissa?
I'm so sorry. No. Alia is provided the swaddles to wrap her sister.
So she's there, and then Jalissa
follows. Yes, I'm so sorry. When you arrive, you're alone. And she kind of waits to see what Tamir has.
Yeah, Tamir spreads it across, shows the two, like the wax piece of the new additions. Doesn't remove it because they're going to need that information, but folds it off to the side, and you can see markings where he's already kind of done his own rapid assessment of the monolith. These are the original blueprints from when the monolith was discovered on Kua.
Now that's something. They've built all sorts of stuff on top of this, though. So while this is definitely needed because we need to know what part of the building we need to go to, how to get there is going to be more complicated.
I think getting there is going to be easy. Getting people off of the monolith is what's going to be difficult. Because not only do we need to get the civilians off, but we should do our best to get the homogeny off. They control that entire area. I need to get here. And he points to where he circled. Based on my calculations, this is likely where the control room is.
Jalissa takes a look. She's gonna roll something. Nailed it.
Oh my god.
she sees the infiltration. Like she rolls for infiltration and she begins looking at the papers and she's like, "This is good and exactly where you want to be, but if you take a look at these walls," and she kind of folds the wax piece back and she says, "These are just simple steel doors. Most of them not, or simple steel walls, not even reinforced double. They're quick and easy ways to create housing." She says, "We have a few of them here. Usually you can pierce right through them with a good torch. You could cut your way in, even from the outside." And she kind of like flips it over and shows you like how quick it would be. She said, "If you could cut straight through here, you wouldn't even have to go up the building."
How could you keep the ship steady? We have a laser on the ship. Don't we? Didn't we have a laser installed?
You have some weapons, but you don't have like a cutting laser. You'd have to use a torch or
Yeah.
something for that.
Which we do have because of all the repairs, all the mechanical repairs.
Well, Jalissa, do you have any more of those special suits we used to get here the first time? Because I still have the one that I was given.
She goes, let me talk with our infiltration crew and see what kind of gear I can wrangle up for you.
Because if I can fly, oh gosh, manual up to the monolith and hold it steady, or even land nearby. Oh no, we left the crawler, didn't we? Did we? No. We have the crawler. Yes. Okay.
She says, I'll be right back. I'm going to give you all a moment. Let me see what I can wrangle up. And she seems to maybe have an idea or something that she might be able to help you with. And she kind of pushes the curtain back and you hear her feet down the hallway as she's at a brisk pace as she moves towards something else.
As she leaves, I turn to Tamir. Tamir, you can cut a precise hole through just about anything.
Yeah, it's not difficult.
Well, then we can just go in the side. Have the crawler. We can open the bottom latch of the crawler right up against the wall. You just go in the side, and then we hopefully have an escape if things go wrong.
Yes, that is all good. I'm honestly not concerned about us being able to get in, let alone being able to get out. I'm concerned for the people who call this place home. And I'm concerned for seeing the old man pulling out that star chart, Dot. What's the ETA of that crossover from the monolith and Coriolis?
Like how long?
Yeah, how long do they have?
So Coriolis sits in its orbit, which means that it actually orbits with the planet. So Kua, the monolith, and Coriolis pretty much are always in tandem.
So they're tidal locked, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Which is actually why it got built there when they tidal locked it, right? When they repurposed the original Zenithian ship, the kind of point was to make it the ground monolith be for kind of upper class, and this floating thing, they took everybody that wasn't quite high class and isolated them to this space station. But the trade between the two is really important. So they wanted to keep it as close as possible, and you can't control an orbit. So they did lock it into place.
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen with the monolith itself? Like, we're just trying to disable it. I don't want to blow it up. We just want to make it so it doesn't work.
Right. This is old, ancient technology, far older than even the first Horizon, I would assume. Created by the same people who made the portals. Whatever we stir within it, we don't know what type of reaction it is going to have. It could blow up on itself.
It is a very, very ancient structure that probably was built, to withstand it then, but now you don't know. And both of you look around and realize Malik is not with you. And the camera actually cuts back to the cell, which I imagine after you're done, Alia, wrapping the body, mourning in your way, the kind of door slides down, and you're actually surprised to be greeted by Malik, who's been waiting.
I think she kind of just looks at him, looks back, and kind of just gives a nod of acknowledgement.
You need anything?
No. I've just time. And perhaps some space.
Okay. I don't do this. So if you need anything,
I don't know what I need. I don't know where I am in the right, whether I'm wrong. Something I must tell you, Malik, is that we mystics, we operate on empathy. That is what we use to connect with others, connect with the world, connect with our gods. And sometimes that comes back and it's us. And the best I can do is do the best I have with what's given to me. Sometimes I understand that some are not capable of redemption, some are not capable of being brought back. And perhaps this was that moment, but the way we have instantly judged, I am concerned. The way we saw one person and without taking a moment to assess and see if she was there for us or if she was there to get us, to see if she actually truly cared and had a way to find redemption. Maybe there wasn't, but it's hard sometimes. And I can only move on. I'm not blaming you, I'm not. I really am not. I've been placed in a situation that we have no real idea what is up and down. All I know is I saw my sister that I've seen from a young age, whether she is the same person or not, die in front of me. And I need a moment, is all.
listen, you can blame me if it makes you feel better. I honestly don't mind. I understand that the world isn't black and white, that despite my approach to most things, it's not all zeros and ones. But you understand that she's incredibly talented and that more than likely she could have gotten out of there eventually. And if she had, she would have tried to stop us.
Alia kind of just continues to stare at her, and you just see her give the subtle nod. You did what you had to.
There's something you should focus on. If the second horizon cloned your sister, one, that means there's an original, and perhaps that's your sister. And two, if she's the one that went bad, then the rest are just assholes and they're still out there. And there's 10 of them. So you have 10 more asshole sisters you could just go befriend and try to redeem.
Alia gets up and kind of just turns around, and then you see her like pull back and then gently just hit you on like that's like a gentle hit on the shoulder, and he goes, I already have one asshole in my life. I don't need too many more.
Tal's not that bad. Come on.
And as you say that, you see Jalissa kind of paces past you. And she says, yes, she is. To answer your question very quickly, and she says, you better come quick. The priest is awake.
Alia turns around, looks at the body one last time, and then kind of just turns back and doesn't look back again and walks out. And, well, if at all in this episode today or one episode, she has a phone call she needs to make.
Interesting. You got to put some information out. You know that Malik would be the man to get that broadcast out.
Yeah, well, it's not really it's a specific person.
Like oh, you want to do it mystically speaking.
I mean, Basically, she wants to
Basically,
get.
there is no communication right now, right?
Oh.
It's like they're in the middle of open warfare. So if you want to get a
Okay.
signal out, somebody else is going to have to broadcast it for you. So
Okay.
Malik would need to help you probably make that broadcast.
Okay. All
Or
right.
you could ask Jalissa if they have a broadcast station or some way to get information out.
Okay. I'll think about it.
Okay. And if you follow Jalissa back, sure enough, she kind of burst back in on Tamir and Tao going over these papers. And she says, I have the infiltration crew gathering what they can. We have a few bits of spare parts, and some of the soldiers have offered up their own things to help you in your mission.
Thank you. That is very kind. I understand that resources are very thin.
She says, well, when they're used for the right reasons, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Jalissa, you're good with people. If you wanted people to leave without actually saying why exactly, how would you do that?
She kind of stops and thinks, and she says, well, all of the Third Horizon now is a bit on edge, knowing that the rumors of the First Horizon, and thanks to Malik's broadcasts, they're a bit on edge. I imagine the best way to have them evacuate is to fake an attack. Beat them to it. Sound the alarm before they actually get there. People will leave in a great hurry or take shelter, I imagine, one hopes. The Homogeny has everything that they need to make that happen. You would be faced with quite a few soldiers, no doubt, because they're going to be on high alert, but the innocent people would have to evacuate.
What if we go there, get ready, tell them to evacuate, and in the chaos, that's when we go in?
It would assure at least you don't have to face as many people.
Yeah, I have a really, really bad feeling about trying to land on Kua right now. I've done it before, but
She says, I'm going to be honest, you're not going to be able to land inside the city at all.
no, I don't
It's on
expect.
lockdown. She's like, so I hope you have somewhere else to land. Last time I checked, you all have landed on Kua before in a variety of places.
Yeah, we have. We've
You went to
landed
Little
a couple
Algol, which is part of the like underlying city of the monolith, right? On the outskirts. You landed in the swamps or near the swamps, and you landed at a location where they were dropping that flat location on the outside of the city, between the swamp and the city gates proper, where they were dropping all of the people they thought were mystics. Remember, they were
Yeah.
pod dropping them down, and there was like a large kind of landing
that
pad they were using to pick them up.
location in particular did have a way to get back to the city though, because they had people going in and out. So I'd probably, Hal's thinking of that location in
In your
particular.
mind. You know, it would be basically be empty. And since all of that is done and you all put it into that operation that was happening against the Mysticides, you don't think probably anybody would be there. And if they are, it would only be a few people.
Yeah. Is that location very close by where we found the
You will have to walk the length of the city. So it is on the outside of the city. It's kind of like it would be like it's not really a landing pad, it's just a dirt plot, really.
yeah.
It would take you probably an hour walk from there into the city to even get close to the base of the monolith. See, I might actually
The question I have though is, remember when we were floating in the middle of the swamp area and we met the locals?
Yes. Yes.
Is the landing pad that I'm thinking about close to that, or is it a bit further away?
No, you had to do well, no, it's not. It is that was part actually. Let me pull you over to the map of Kua. I have this.
Oh.
Memories.
Go back to some memories. So the place that you're talking about is actually near Little Algol. It's on the outskirts of Little Algol over here. And y'all took this river Remember, because I drew it all the way up and through the swamps. So you would land kind of on the outskirts of Little Algol down here, and you would have to make your path through the city all the way to the monolith if you posted out that far. I would probably say that no ships are allowed to land without a shadow of a doubt on the inner two most rings of the city, right? The Covenant City, and then all of these kind of like Ara and all of everything that's within the secondary circle is like locked down. The other ones are probably heavily guarded, but they may let supplies and things in and out.
Tal, what if we took the chance and landed in Little Algol? I bet the people there would, well, I would hope the people there would be willing to assist. There is no way that those of Little Algol are going to be under the hegemony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be a walk, but
yeah, it will be a trek through the city.
And they'll probably stop us if we look too out of place. So we'll have to travel light. As little gear as possible.
Jalissa goes, as much as I'd like to stay, the priest is up and I need to debrief him. You're welcome to join me, but I must go.
We do need to talk to him.
We should go with.
Yeah, we should definitely.
So, all of you kind of follow her down into the med bay. You see Lamara laying there. Every clear sign she's on a drip now so that she's not like starving and dehydrated. And you see that the priest has been patched and he's lying awake. And there's a nurse kind of tending to him, checking his pulse and the whatnot, just to make sure he's okay. But he seems awake. And he kind of rolls over and you can see they've cleared the blood away from his face and his core. But he is shirtless now. He doesn't wear his robes because he's been bound entirely across the waist area where he took the shot, the wound.
Alia kind of just nods at her. I mean, at him. What would be the title of someone like this? Just priest?
I don't think you were given his name, but yeah, you would just call it priest. You would know he's a priest until you like properly introduce yourself. Maybe we'll find his name.
Priest, my name is Alia Al-Sabir. I'm of the Lady of the Tears, and how are you feeling? Are you well? Do you feel better?
He kind of looks up at you, and he says, "Well, by the icons, at least I'm not dead." And he kind of coughs a little bit and holds his side, and he says, "But I have little energy and much to say."
Well, if you're capable now, we'd love to hear.
He looks and he says, "I have a message for Jalissa," as if he doesn't know any of you.
Is Jalissa with us?
She steps forward and makes herself known, and he simply says, "The second horizon, they've been moving the emissaries across the third horizon, separating them, each one to a different monolith. They are some kind of key, an access point to either shutting it down or turning it on. Our hope is that if we can get one emissary to each." And you see him kind of hesitate, and he says, "But we have lost emissaries."
Does it need to be emissaries? Could it be any mystic to help?
He says, I don't know. All I know is that they are moving them, and they believe that it has to be the emissaries, that their entire purpose of coming here was to shut these things down.
You said they were keys?
Yes, there's an ancient text that talked about being sent by the icons, incarnate themselves. They were drawn here, or would be drawn here, for a cataclysmic event, one in which they would sacrifice themselves. This is why they came, not to bring the darkness or war. The second horizon, they saw this prophecy, and they came here to stop it, and only in its wake found the first horizon. I've been working undercover for quite a while in the archives, trying to suss out what information I can and pass along information from the Order of the Pariah. And he says, and now we know the truth. Alia, you and Malik are remembered of the drawing that Uhara did, specifically, and the information that you got from it. And he says they are bound to each monolith in a certain way, each one assigned to another. He says, unfortunately, we've lost 2 emissaries, one of which is for the monolith on Kua.
Then is there no solution? Is there no way? I mean, does that mean it's lost already?
Alia, we have a key.
But let me double check. Do they need both the key and an emissary at each one?
You don't know. The emissaries seem to be the key, but you don't have keys, right? For 2 of them, there were what, 5 emissaries, and you've killed, like 2 of them have died. One was killed here on Kua. The other one, some of you witnessed on the planet side in the first season die. One of them was clearly the Kua monolith, was attached to the Kua monolith, which means they don't have an emissary. They don't have a key for this one, which is a good and a bad thing. If they don't have the key, they can't turn it on, or so you think. But it also means they can't stop it either. So, and he kind of leans over, he goes, what do you mean you have a key?
We have
The machine.
The lost icon.
Yes.
That is not a key. That is an icon.
But the machine gave us a key.
And he kind of stops and he looks at you. He says, the machine has not been seen here since before the Portal Wars.
I saw the machine here last night. She watches, observes. She waits.
And so what? Her emissary has been sent to take its place.
Her emissary was lost?
Her emissary was never sent.
her emissary just said he saw her last night.
He stops and looks at Tamir up and down. He says, you do not look like an emissary to me. I've seen them with my own eyes.
He kind of looks to Tal like, wait, what did you just say?
Yeah, Tal basically just called you an emissary carrying a key. And he says, I don't know that I understand this, but I will answer your questions where I can. The information that was sent is that, and he kind of looks over at a calendar clock, right? Time on the wall. He says, in T-minus 48 hours, the First Horizon will make their attack, an attempt to infiltrate the monolith on Kua. They believe that even without the emissary, they can still make it work. I don't know how, but they feel like they have the information. He says, this is what I know. This is the information that I bring. A prophecy is being fulfilled. And we are
It's
missing
definitely-
key players.
Does the prophecy at all mention at all how we can perhaps stop it? Are there anything in there? I've seen the prophecy. I've seen parts of it. We both have, but we were not able to make out everything.
He kind of gently sits up and he says, how does one stop a prophecy? It is written in the stars. It is going to happen. The emissaries will find their monoliths. And what happens after that? Well, that is fate. If you believe in such.
I mean, it's been a weird day, but not to be that guy. You just asked how to stop a prophecy. 2 out of 5 of the people that need to fill the prophecy are dead. So that seems like it's pretty much stopped right there.
He shrugs his shoulders. I am not qualified to say, but I can tell you when they will strike. and it will be soon.
Then we need to act now.
And he kind of lays back, and you see Jalissa come over, and she thanks him and puts a hand on him, and she says, "Rest. This is no longer your fight." And she kind of turns around and gestures all of you kind of back a little bit away from him as he kind of grunts and closes his eyes. She says, "You have 48 hours. I will provide you anything that I can. But I cannot escort you to the surface. I am going to stay here with these people and try to evacuate them from Coriolis for a period of time."
I'm going to do everything I can to stop this.
She goes, "And I hope you do. But if you don't, I can't let these people die."
And you shouldn't.
And she says, "If we are lucky, we will meet you on the surface of Kua. But I must begin planning and moving people. We're going to need vessels and more gear than we have." She says, "I will leave you to your thoughts. You know where to find me." And she kind of bustles off as if she's got a lot of planning to do. She needs to move all of these people in 2 days. And she's got a lot of work to do. And she kind of gestures to the 2 guards that are there, and she says, "Let's go." As she gestures away, she's like, "I'll leave a box in my room for all of you."
Thanks.
And you see her leave. And as she does, the door kind of closes shut, which is really just a hanging curtain at this point, because again, all of this is very makeshift. And you see Lamara's hand, all of you, twitch out of the corner of your eye, the first real movement from Lamara in quite a long time. As if maybe she's dreaming, or you're not entirely sure. And because we have a corruption bar at the end of the night, there's almost a moment of silence. And then you hear an explosion on the other side of Coriolis. It goes off with a loud blast and rocks everything around you. Things fall off the shelf. Lamara's body kind of jostles on the table. So does the priest a little bit as he wakes up and kind of hangs on. She's strapped down, but things break and fall out of the cabinets, and there is an alarm that sounds. Caution lights go off all up and down the floors, and you hear a voice come over. It, of course, sounds just like the voice, Sally, that is on your vessel, that robotic voice that says, "Please remain calm. The vessel is currently venting into space. Please avoid the upper decks. I repeat, please avoid the upper decks." It seems that something has happened, and Coriolis is currently either under attack or has a battle going on. And you hear kind of screaming. Jalissa starts shouting orders to people. Boots squeak across the floor. And the curtain pulls back, and Sewell joins you. You see his face just momentarily, and under his arm, he carries a box. And in that box are supplies, weapons, and suits, specialty suits that have kind of magnetized palms to them, as if for climbing. And I imagine he says some quip about "let's get the fuck out of here," as tonight's episode comes to an end.
That was a fucking roller coaster, guys. Yeah, that's it for tonight's episode. And the countdown to the finale of Void begins. We have 48 hours. Yeah, so we're going to go around. We're going to do our introductions. We're going to get the hell out of here so we can talk about all these crazy plot developments in the after show. If you guys want access to the after show, link down below to the Patreon. That's where they all are for this show, for all the other shows we have on the channel at the $5 tier. Go do that. While you're down there, click on that Discord link. Join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. But for now, let's go around, do our outros so that we can get the hell out of here and do all those sweet, sweet after shows. We'll start at the top of my screen. Gnome, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hello, my name is Nomadic. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, and the TikToks at Nomadic. I do TTRPG things in TTRPG spaces. I'm here on Thursdays.
That's true. For now and the future.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm stuck.
Forever and ever.
For our next show that we actually announced our next show over on the Hot Dice Daddy podcast. So if you guys haven't checked that out, if you haven't checked out Hot Dice Daddy podcast, go check that out over at I don't know, podcast.hot dice daddy or something. I don't know. Go Google it, man. Aris, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
Hi, I'm Erisavad. I make things like TTRPG accessories and jewelry and all sorts of fun stuff. You can find the things that I make at erisavad.com. I've put up some new merch this week, and I'd like you to go check that out because it's super cool and I worked really hard on it. So go check out my merch section. Yeah, you can also find me on Twitter at Stitched by Eris, where I do all of the things all combined into one place. So you could just go there.
Perfect. KP, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hello, everybody. My name is KP. I go by KP11 Studios on all your social medias. I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all the things. And I do many, many things, most of which is play games with wonderful folks like this. I snap photos. I do a bunch of things online, two of which are happening this coming weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's going to be a busy weekend. Friday, usual. We're going to have our City of Light and Shadows with my fellow co-player, my DM here, Dot. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And things are getting very spicy. It's always kind of been spicy, but things are just escalating like none other. And if you want to see us punch Nazis to de-escalate the situation, that's where you can find it. On top of that, on Saturday, I forget, I need to double check if it's a recorded show and they're going to put it out afterwards. But I will be on Atlanta by Night. I will be playing Vampire the Masquerade with these fine folks out here. And then on Sunday, I will be playing with the D4 crew. And I'm super excited. I have been wanting to play this character for over 2 years now. And I'm happy. I kind of played a one-shot in between, but we're going to have her come back and play again. And so I'm super excited I get a chance to play with these wonderful folks. And that's it. Outside of that, we just wrapped up our Tuesday show, so nothing there. I have a Wednesday show called on Nat One Fun's channel called Running Fey Wild, and it is basically us. It's a isekai D&D game where we get sucked into our own D&D game and our characters become our characters. And now we have shenanigans. And we all believe that we're just tripping balls and this is not real, that we just had a bad chili. So watch that shenanigans on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday. So next Wednesday, we'll have a show. And that is all for now.
Hell freaking yeah. And last but not least, our amazing Game Master Dot. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hi, friends. I'm Little Red Dot. You can find me where Little Red Dots are found online, mostly over at Kobold Press and with my podcast, Stitch of Fate, which just closed out its season, but we're expanding the network. So look for Pod by Night. That's other than a few places that KP mentioned you could find me. So, that's it.
Hell yeah. Love that. That's it for us, guys. We're done here. We're going to get out of here, do the after show. Like I said, get it over on Patreon. Probably tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. But that's it from us. We'll see you guys next time. From all of us to you. Bye-bye.